racial in Jeffco. Often being the only visibly Black woman in my workspaces has been very difficult for me. I started off hopeful when I entered Jeffco, that things would change, right? And after being here for almost 8 years, more often than not, I find myself highly disappointed and frustrated at the very slow or no pace of change when it comes to that racial, ethnic equity piece here in Jeffco. When I heard recently there was a diversity training that we all were invited to go to, but of course those are the kind of trainings that people only volunteer to go to. About 2 years ago, something that stuck with me is that there's an importance to move with the speed of urgency of the most marginalized and not those of least impact. And that was 2 years ago. And when I heard that in that training, I was ignited with a passion that, okay, and a hope even, right? That, okay, maybe we'll start something. But even to think about all the things that have happened in the last 6 months, 6 to 8 to 9 months, and even just in the last 2 weeks when a very well-meaning staff member mentioned that mentioning Black Lives Matters in a school context was too controversial, and that it's not something that that person felt comfortable doing, right? And he meant well. He's an advocate, but in the school context that we're in, with some of the languaging that had gone out during the summer, it wasn't very clear. It was a vague messaging around whether that kind of what Jeffco stands for, frankly. And so to think that I was excited about some change 2 years ago, to think that here we are today and things are still moving at a very slow pace. I want to honor that what charges me are my Nigerian parents. Their story of resilience in a very racist world is what keeps me going. Knowing what they had to go through to raise children in a world that made it difficult for them to attain what everybody aspires as far as the American dream goes, is what keeps me going. But I am tired. We are tired of the talk. We are demanding action. And this language that we're proposing today it will be a start. But the action items in it will need urgent action. I don't want additional resolutions. I don't want additional talking points. We need action that should have started ages ago as a district. Robert shared at a recent board meeting that he's been here for 17 years. And though he came with folks of color that were part of his community and they kind of came and went, he stayed. He stayed. And why he stayed is because he believes in Jeffco. And what he stated at that recent board meeting was that he did not feel that Jeffco believed in him. I want to make it very clear that the reason he worked so hard in the last 3 months to elevate this language, to clarify it, to make sure that it covered all of the bases, was because there was not enough urgency on Jeffco's side to see this through. And I say this, I know that it can come off charge, it can feel attacking, but I really want us as a whole district to take ownership. Please do not be defensive. Please do not make excuses. Please just be reflective and own that as a district, we have not cut it. So, he worked so hard on this language because he was like, if that's not going to happen as quick as it needs to happen on a district level, I'm going to organize, I'm going to get people excited to do the work and rally around that work. And I want to say, Robert shared his story often, and he would share it with anyone who would listen. On several occasions, he shared that when he was recruited in the 90s from Atlanta, he had an affinity group that at the time networked educators of color. But again, there was not a clarity around responses to discrimination and bias